Hi guys, I'm Lisa. Welcome back to the channel. The first place I always went with any problem was the union. And all those problems were related to discrimination. Usually I had proof that it happened, and I just needed the union to convince NASA to let me transfer to whatever job I had managed to prearrange for myself. So I always went to them with a solution. The last time I went to them, I didn't have a solution, just a problem that nobody at NASA would even discuss reasonable accommodation with me. I couldn't solve that problem on my own. I needed actual help. At this point, I'd like to say that I am a big supporter of unions. It's why I was a member. Unions have helped our family a lot through the years. And I believe that collective bargaining gives us all power that none of us would have otherwise. I know some of you have had great support from your unions. Unfortunately, I can't say the same. So I could only use my union as a tool for funneling misinformation to HR and the legal office. For instance, I told the union president that I planned to drop my claim after I retired so that NASA would get the idea that if they just left me alone and let me retire like normal, their problem might go away. Every now and then someone asks me if I think they should go to their union for help with their discrimination claim. I go back and forth on that. Talking to you guys has convinced me that like most people we encounter in this process, there are good union reps and there are bad ones. I think that most of us sort of assume that our union rep is going to know more about our rights and how to fight for them than we do. And most of the time, that's not a bad assumption. But with a discrimination claim, if you mess up and let the union steer you wrong, you can miss a deadline or say or do the wrong thing and lose your right to sue. EEOC isn't going to give you any appeals because you took bad advice. And while we're on the subject, that's also true for YouTube attorneys and channels like mine. I hope you guys treat my advice like you treat advice from a coworker. Consider it, then do your own research. In the description, I've linked to an excellent article at Inform Fed that lays out some of the specific ways that your union could mess up your discrimination claim. There's a lot of backing data in the article as well, so you guys can check it out for yourselves. For example, the union may advise you to ignore instructions or say things that can get you disciplined. And saying my union told me to do that won't get you out of it. It's frustrating that we can't always count on our union to do what's right for us. I think most union officials don't mean to steer us wrong. They have a limited amount of time, usually a limited amount of training where discrimination is concerned, and they have to choose their battles just like the rest of us. My problems with our union were mostly because the union president had been president so long that he'd become a de facto member of management himself. He was friendly with the worst henchmen in HR. And I'm sure the fact that my boss was his second-tier supervisor didn't help me either. So should you go to your union for help? I think if I had it to do over, I'd probably still go to my union. But I think I would have asked the union president what kinds of training he had on discrimination and what he thought he could do for me. And just like I did before, I'd also watch him like a hawk to see whose interests he was looking after. But at the same time, I'd be studying EEOC guidance and asking as many EEO and HR professionals as I could possibly find and afford for their advice and insight. And I'd carefully consider all their advice before I decided to head down any particular road. In the description, I've left some links to some places where you can find the kinds of people that I'm talking about. Places like Quora, FedSoup, and a couple of Facebook groups that I can personally vouch for. Unfortunately, fighting a discrimination claim is a big job, and nobody's going to do it for us. We can get help from attorneys, unions, EEOC, friends and family, and others. But ultimately, nobody's going to do the heavy lifting for us. The discrimination fight is a second job. Luckily this time, we get a better boss. I'll see you again next week. Till then, take care and hang in. Fight smart and hang in to win.